appreciate you guys for being in the live stream. Much love to the fam. Much love. Much love. So thank you for being here. Big ups to everybody, man. Listen, we're gonna talk a little black and gold tonight on Nakoma. And listen, man, a lot of stuff going on today on this Monday stream, to be honest with you, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the live. Man, all I can tell you is that sheesh. We got a few things going on with him, as we seen Tyler Shuck back with the one. Spencer was working with the twos. As you guys can see of some of the highlights that they were having. A lot of good football was had and practicing. This is, as the first padded practice with a lot of the hitting allowed for the hitting to be gone. It feels like football again. Saints getting it in, man. And let's talk about that, man. We'll go over a few news notes tonight. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all. Y'all do me a service on this one by hitting the like button. Much love. I see OG Jerry. Big ups to you, fam. Much love to you guys. Appreciate y'all. Jaden, I see you, man. Big ups, brother Richard. Brian, how you doing, man? Brian, big ups to you as well. We up in this thing, fam. We up in this thing. All right, so let's get right to it, fam. Let's get right to it. All right, so anyway, what's up, KK? In this one, man, today on the Monday practice, a lot of stuff happening. First and foremost, shout out to JT Gray. He had an injury at practice today. That's something we talk about as well. He left the field with the trainer. They kind of downplaying it for right now. It was mentioned, Kellen Moore did mention it as a lower leg injury and said that it'll be evaluated at another time. As you know, they don't have to give us no injury report, so to speak, as well. But that's something to get out right away. Linebacker Demario Davis came back to practice. That was good to see him back out there. First full pads practice of the new training camp time. They had the first of 4 practices that they're going to have. The DBs, like I say, JT Gray, lower leg issue. They're going to notify us about that later. The quarterback particularly is what a lot of people kind of focusing on, and rightfully so. It's the most important position on the football field. Tyler Shuck ran with the first team on the south side of the field. Spencer Rattler worked with the second team on the north side of the field, and each quarterback worked out 8 full reps before the horn blew. Then everybody went to the south side. Tyler Shuck got 7 reps. Rattler had 4. Jake Hander entered the practice with 4 reps. And that capped off the practice with a 20-yard completion on the comeback route to wide receiver Dante Pettis. Now, defensive back Julian Blackman, they had the interview that they released today. Good seeing him there. He received his official summer indoctrination to the Saints by showing up, with his first snowball, courtesy of Droopies. If you remember them, they got some pretty good snowballs. He mentioned, a few other things as well. But it's hot, man. It's going on out there. It's very hot out there. So, like I said, first full practice in pads. A lot of hitting going on with the offensive line versus the defensive line, and some one-on-one drills. The rest of them was involved with 7-on-7 drills. The starters were going against the starters. Sometimes you've seen some of the doubling on the reps. Defensive tackle Brian Brissy matched up with Trevor Penning. Defensive end Cam Jordan faced off against Tali Fuaga. Right guard Cesar Ruiz squared off against defensive tackle Nathan Shepard. And typical of these drills that both sides of the ball show individual wins, but the biggest matchup came with first-round draft pick Kevin Banks Jr. Kelvin Banks Jr. was matched up against Chris Rumph II. Now, Rumph had a nice little spin around move on Banks, who was quickly brought back down to earth by Banks with a slamming pancake block. So let me tell you something about Kelvin Banks Jr. Big guy. I ain't gonna call him a dancing bear, but the guy can move. The guy is a 6'5", 315 pounder, but he's very quick. He don't move like a slow plodding big defensive end. He's a fleet of foot, big guy that can move. His footwork is really good. And that's one of the things that helped him when he was with Texas, man, is the fact that he always some kind of way maintains his leverage and his power. He knows how to move them feet. He don't have lazy feet. He moves them feet and get them set so he can use that as a base for his technique. So he showed some stuff on this day. So we need to see more of that, because he's got one of the most important jobs, and that's covering the blind side of the quarterback. So that's pretty big as well. And of course, a couple of plays of the day to talk about. The first was the explosive one during the first team period when Spencer threw one down the sideline to Rashid Shaheed, beat Quincy Riley, the rookie. That was big. And then he hauled in the pass for about a 55-yard gain, and that was the biggest play practice in terms of yardage, right? And then, of course, the other three quarterbacks face repeated defensive pressure, something they got none of during the first practice. And that's what makes it, that turns up everything, is how will the young quarterbacks deal with the pressure of the defensive line firing off, getting in there, making things pop and shake. How will those guys deal with it? Of course, a lot of that wasn't happening in the previous sessions simply because, they had an opportunity to kind of fire that thing off without having anybody running at them. So it's a whole different world when that kind of thing happened. But this play took place in Tyler Shuck last set of reps when he kind of shook up. But on rep number 2, Shuck again faced pretty solid pressure, including an extra blitzer from the outside. The first team offensive line provided some protection and had a tight pocket around Tyler Shuck, who stepped up inside and calmly delivered a perfect 20-yard spiral downfield to Brandon Cooks, who was streaking on the right side and left across the field. And then, of course, the patience, lack of happy feet, and the accurate throw to a viable weapon might not have been the flashiest play of Monday, but it was good to see the rookie stand tall in the pocket and deliver the throw. So that was of notable reference as well. So a lot of stuff still to take away from camp to kind of talk about it. And we talk about some more of it going forward. But it's going to be interesting because Tyler Shuck is given the first team reps, and you can see what Coach Moore is going to do is kind of move these guys around back and forth. Mostly, I still say it'll be Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck in between, giving them opportunities to get played behind the first team offense. And that's smart to do, right? They'll allow that to happen. But we've seen Tyler Shuck make a few good plays. Spencer Rattler, for the most part, during it, leaning into it, has been pretty solid and poised as well in the pocket. And, the Rashid Shaheed throw was really good. And then, of course, Jake Hayner, he had an up and down practice on Monday. While he did make a great play by stepping up in the pocket and throwing that touchdown pass to Bub Means, he made a few throws that were batted down by defenders. So Hayner performed better in the quarterback battle than some expected, but not good enough to consider him like in the top 2 competition. Let's just be serious. The O-line and defensive lines was something that we really wanted to see, but the defensive line has been cutting up for most of training camp, right? Carl Granderson and Chase Young basically getting back there all the time. Brian Bresee and Chris Rumph is making a name for himself too. Chris Rumph's a guy came through here. They picked him up, and we talked about some of these guys that Coach Staley wanted to bring on the team. Jonah Williams, Chris Rumph. They added Bullard, Jonathan Bullard. So he's bringing these guys in here because he has an idea of what kind of defensive players that he wants to use that will play well in the system. Now he knows Chris Rumph II from his time out on the West Coast, but you seeing them guys getting a lot of pressure there. So Monday with the defensive line continue to be disruptive. We started to see see more promising showings from the offense because the defense, iron sharpens iron, right? So during the one-on-ones, we talked about Kelvin Banks doing what he do. That was some of the really good ones. Them guys going at each other. And like I said, the first time they can actually mix in. And this is going to be a long training camp, right? So it's a lot of individual battles, a lot of the offense versus defense, seeing eventually, what that offensive line could be versus that defense, which Coach Staley. Now, the quarterbacks are going to steal the day because of the notoriety of the position, but the defense is what I'm looking at, right, as well. The 34 going from 43 to 34, we know that there'll be packages where he'll have 5 defensive backs out there. They've already kind of hinted at that. And that's something that we want to see. How well can Coach Staley convert the Saints 43 defense to a 34 look? It can be fast and furious, stopping the run. Who's going to step up and occupy some of these positions? We got a lot of guys on the team, and where they could play will be interesting. Like, there's a lot of versatility. Staley has got to be like, man, he got to be, basically foaming at the mouth, thinking in his head, man, damn, man, we got all these people here, and I can run this, I can do that, I can run these different, this kind of stuff. So it's going to be fun watching the offense Kellen Moore's offense against Staley's Brendan Staley's defense and practice and training camp. I'm just looking forward to that battle right there, right? And of course, the special team. Blake Gripe is just running away with this thing. The man is almost perfect. Has 9 of 10 on his field goal kicks. His one miss was a 49-yarder. Charlie Smith not doing so hot. You know, he's failed to even keep it close. He 5 of 10 for 50%, so that's not going to cut it. A lot of time still left for him to kind of pick up his game as early on, but he got to start kicking and get back into it. But Blake Grupe is definitely dominating the competition between him and Charlie Smith. And of course, we will still be paying attention to the kick return and punt return aspect of it. When it gets to that, it's like, okay, you know, what is that going to look like? You know, who's going to be the returner? Are they going to continue to use Rashid Shaheed in kick return and punt returning duties? Who's going to step up and take the job as the returner? We know that Velus Jones Jr. is a guy that's mentioned there. Can Clyde Edwards-Helaire contribute? Do they have a wide receiver? You know, Dante Pettis was doing his thing last year. Would he reprise that role? Because we know that for guys that's the 4, if the Saints keep, it's very likely the Saints keep 5 wide receivers, right? Very likely it's a safe number to say. And whoever the 5th receiver is, they're going to have to play special teams. So a lot of people think Dante Pettis would be that guy because Dante Pettis is tall. He's got really good speed. He's a solid special teams player. He can catch the ball. He showed some stuff when the Saints put him out there in the offense last year. They kind of moved Mason Tipton out the way, even though Mason Tipton he did this last year in training camp. So when I see Mason making these catches and, you know, making the first down sign, that don't really surprise me about Mason Tipton because he's done that. He did that last year. You know, I say, okay, you can do it when the games don't really count, but can you do it when it count? Can you flip the switch, make it count? He didn't do it last year. He was a rookie. He was dropping passes. He even lost his position, got buried in the depth chart actively. That's how we end up getting a lot of these other receivers like Pettis and finding out what he can do. And the Saints were impressed by him. They gave him a 1-year deal to come back. He can make this team well. So it's going to be interesting with the kick return. We know Burnup is going up against the punter. So we're going to find out exactly, you know, what some of our specialists has got going on, because that's also another battle that we don't want to kind of forget about.